So it finally happened. The green line of the bull market support band finally got above the red line, and I think that pretty much confirms that something is about to happen in the next few weeks. Now, of course, that's not guaranteed, but if you check out what happened, for example, here before we got this crazy pump, as you can see, when the price was going down, and by the way, the price went down for about 6 months before the green line finally got above the red line. After the price went down so much, we got that cross, and 2 weeks later, even though nothing really happened when we got the cross, I mean, as you can see, we did not have a crazy pump, and we actually had to wait a few more weeks to actually get something. Even though nothing happened, after that cross happened, the pump exploded a few weeks later. So it's not guaranteed that it will happen again, but by the looks of it, I mean, I think it's going to happen. Now let's continue with this. So as you can see here, when the red line got above the green line of the bull market support band, it pretty much confirmed that the first wave right here is actually in, and yeah, ever since we've been going down quite a lot. The price has been going down for like, let's say, 161 days, just like right here. So is that a coincidence? Well, I don't know. Let's check out the previous cycle as well. So if you look at what happened over here, this is the move that I was comparing with the current move, because they pretty much look the same. As you can see, this was a 1-2 setup, and this is also a 1-2 setup, and this 1-2 setup that happened in the previous cycle, as you can see, happened exactly after hitting the bear market low, just like in this cycle, and I believe they look very, very similar. And if you take a look at how the bull market support band looks here, as you can see, after the red line got above the green line right here, it confirmed that the first wave right here is in, just like in this cycle, and then the red line stayed above the green line for, let's say, about 4 months. But even though it stayed above it for 4 months, after the green line got above the red line, the price still did not do anything for another 2 months. And as you can see, in total, it took about 175 days for the second wave to be done. And right now, in this cycle, we've been in a second wave move down for around 161 days. So this really makes me wonder if we'll copy what happened over here, or if we'll copy what happened over here. Either way, I mean, it pretty much took the exact same time each cycle, and not even each cycle, every time we got a move down. So I'm really wondering if we are close to bottoming, or if we actually bottomed in the second wave move down. Now, of course, we could always get another low, because as you can see right here, after the green line went above the red line, that did not confirm that the low is actually in, and we put in another lower low a few weeks after that. So we might just do that, and if we do that, it would honestly go perfectly well with my Bitcoin prediction. I think Bitcoin dominance is close to topping, so as you can see, it's almost at 60%. It's currently at 57.7%. Well, right now it's at 57%. And I think it's going to top at 60%, and after that we'll get an altcoin season. And why is this relevant? Well, if Cardano keeps putting in lower lows in the first wave, well, in the second wave move down right here, that means that Bitcoin will continue going sideways, and when Bitcoin goes sideways, Bitcoin dominance usually goes up. So I think we'll go sideways for another 1 to 2 weeks, maybe even a month, before we actually do something and before ADA gets a pump. So I've predicted that an altcoin season will be happening somewhere between October and November. Well, it will start by then, hopefully. And if it doesn't, then I don't think we'll copy what happened over here. And I think it's going to be a much more bearish structure. But right now I see no reason why we would not copy what happened over here, because even on the RSI, for example, it looks quite similar. I mean, sure, it did not go to the same levels, but here, when we went into a 1-2 setup, the RSI formed a U structure before going down in a second wave move down. And in that second wave move down, as you can see, on the weekly at least, the RSI went below the yellow line, and it stayed there for a very long time, and then it tested it, it got rejected by it tested it again, it got rejected again, and then it bounced to the upside, and it had a pump, and then the pandemic happened. And right now, a similar thing is happening. So even though the RSI levels are a bit higher, I mean, as you can see, here we also formed a U structure after going up in a 1-2 setup, and we have been below the yellow line on the RSI for a very long time as well, just like we were right here. And we even tested it one time and we got rejected by it, and it looks like we're about to test it again. So we'll see what happens then. If we get rejected by the yellow line on the weekly, then I think we'll pretty much copy what happened over here. So as you can see here, we tested it 2 times and we got rejected before actually pumping. So if that's the case, if we will get rejected by the yellow line again, then I think that's going to be a sign that will go sideways for another maybe 2 to 3 weeks, maybe even a month. Now, I also want to look at what Bitcoin dominance was doing when ADA was doing this 1-2 setup. So this 1-2 setup started in December of 2018 and the second wave ended in December of 2019. So this 1-2 setup took about 1 year. And right now, well, actually, let me compare this. So this took about 385 days, and in this cycle we have been in a 1-2 setup for about 434 days, which is a lot longer than the previous cycle, but that's not really bearish, because as you can see in the previous cycle, after we hit the bear market low, the price kind of pumped. But in this cycle, I mean, sure, you could say that it pumped, but it was not quite a significant pump. So, you know, they're not quite similar. And if we look at Bitcoin dominance, if we look at what happened with it during December 2018 and December 2019, you can see that during that time, Bitcoin dominance was very close to topping. And that looks very similar to what's happening right now. So as you can see, we had a 1-2 setup and the Bitcoin dominance did not go down during that 1-2 setup. Just like in the previous cycle, as you can see, I mean, even when the 1-2 setup started, Bitcoin did not even feel it, just like right here. And if we are repeating what happened over here, even though what happened here was a pre-halving year and this is a halving year, if we are repeating what happened here, then I think it's safe to assume that after ADA puts in its second wave low, Bitcoin dominance will start going down. Now, of course, it's not only ADA we're talking about. I mean, most altcoins are currently in a second wave move down, and after all of the altcoins bottom in the second wave move down, I think that's when the Bitcoin dominance chart will top for this cycle, and then will start going down, and the altcoins will have their season finally. And I believe we are very close to that, so I don't think it's going to happen this month, because as we all know, I've mentioned this a lot in my previous videos, but Bitcoin does not really do a lot in August and in September, so there is a chance that we go sideways for the next, like, let's say 5 to 6 weeks, and there is a chance that the altcoin season starts in October, because if you look at the monthly returns on Bitcoin, you'll see that October is usually a very good month for Bitcoin, and even though Bitcoin dominance is close to topping, that does not mean that altcoins will go up on their own. So yes, altcoins will go up probably if their first wave does not get invalidated. Yes, they will go up, but they will not go up on their own. So whenever they go up, Bitcoin will need to go up with them. So, you know, we will need a bounce, and right now Bitcoin looks like it's going to put in another fourth wave low right here, which would not be bullish because it would put the price at 44k, and that's not really good. You could say that the fourth wave is over, but right now I don't see any sign that it actually is. So if we do drop like 44k, that's pretty much going to invalidate the first wave move to the upside, and I mean the ADA first wave move to the upside, and that's not going to be bullish. So we'll see what happens with that. And that's pretty much all I have for today. I know it's quite boring right now, but I mean that's how second wave moves usually are. I mean, even in the previous cycle right here, this was also kind of boring. And as you can see, the correction took like 6 months. And right now we've only been in a correction for about 161 days. So maybe we'll continue going down for another month before we actually do something. But, you know, we'll see what happens. I hope you enjoyed this video. Maybe check out our YouTube memberships and our Patreon. And like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.